Hi, I'm Josh Bell with the Miami Marlins. I wear Neuroguard to help with strength and coordination when I'm in the weight room and help with balance when I'm on the baseball field.
One of the most comfortable, reduces concussion, increases performance. You can't get a mouthpiece like that on the market.
Not only is it a great product, it's super easy to use. I recommend it for any player at any age or any level. Thank you guys so much, and go check out Neuroguard Plus.
Neuroguard mouthpiece makes it easier to breathe while playing basketball. The unique design is not as bulky as any other mouthpiece and makes you feel safe in concussions.
Neuroguard. They control my breathing while I'm riding. It stops me getting concussions while I wreck. It's very easy to use, so go pick one up today.
I'm still doing stunts. And the concussions I've got, I feel much safer with that. I'm doing, like I said, I'm doing a whole lot better in the gym. So Neuroguard Plus, once this one wears out, you've got a customer for life, because I'm telling you people, Neuroguard Plus is the way to go, and me, Mark Ash, says so.
Parents, kids, coaches, Neuroguard. It's the future. Stay tuned.
All right, everybody, now's the time. Brown right, motion, tailback slant. Let's put the women and children to bed and go looking for dinner, all right? On one, ready? Go, 13! Coming up, go, 13!
We are road weary, we are tired, but we're still excited to be talking Texas high school football. Hello, everybody. It's Terry Bennett, Grant Goodwin here. Sideline to sideline, the, 4A-3A and 2A edition tonight. We're basically on one show tonight, and then next week, by the way, we're live in studio. You'll get to see all the mistakes and everything that we've already had to redo this one once. But that'll be live. And then, of course, the state championship stuff that we'll be doing, and we'll talk about that more next week. We're going to be doing basically the same stuff we've been doing with the live watch parties and stuff. But other than that, my friend Grant, I love our Thanksgiving trips, but why does it feel like each year it takes longer and longer and longer to get over those?
Yeah, I know. I always come back sick, too.
We both have. You and I both woke up Monday. That's why we're recording on a Wednesday. You were sick, and to be honest with you, I was too. I just didn't want to admit it. So I ain't gonna lie. You can ask Studio Life. When you sent me that email, I was like, yes, I love the show, but I'm just
being cooped up in a press box and shaking hands and greeting people and saying hi and all that, and it just no air. Maybe.
Look,
I guess
I loved the people we hung out with. And I'm not going to name him, but when he said, "Oh man, what a time to get a cold," I looked at you and went, "Shit, we know what's about to happen," and it did. But anyway, it doesn't matter. We had a great time. We saw two interesting games of football. Man, this was a weird week from where we stayed to what we watched, whether it be Friday night or Saturday with the college games. This was one of those weeks that was a little bit underwhelming, but some of the games, like the Columbus-Franklin game, is so interesting that makes up for it.
Oh, yeah. Just that game just totally ended in a complete different way than we expected, right?
And we'll talk about that when we get to 3, but I will admit, it's not the results that shock me. Like Columbus winning, that's perfectly fine. But for them to go out, and we knew defensively they were going to be a force, but for them to go out offensively and push Franklin around, I don't know what it is, but the last few years in 3A, whether it be when we see Wascom play Newton and Newton just is like, we don't want to do it tonight, or Franklin in this game, Columbus. I mean, I'm not saying Franklin's effort was an issue, but you could just tell early on that Columbus, that they were hitting their angles, they were hitting if everything could go right, it was going right for Columbus.
Yeah, they had Franklin's defense on skates,
and that
all
was
night
confusing.
all night long. And Columbus was kind of iffy on offense, even midway through the season. Then we saw that offense starting to click when we went down there and saw them play Hitchcock at home. And you could see the offense starting to click.
But then they struggled again. Maybe it's just us. When we're there, they click. By the way, yes, we can tell on the camera I am not this much taller than Grant. I don't know what it is with the studio cameras. If I align everything else for some reason, maybe it's because you broke my chair a couple weeks ago.
Probably so.
All right. Before we begin anything, we have a new segment because we have a new embedded reporter, Kevin McPherson. He's going to be behind the lines in all the war-torn countries going forward next year for us. And he is one of him and Noe. It's really weird that him and Noe haven't hung out more because they are two peas in a pod when it comes to numbers.
Yeah.
Like you just be like 1982 Dallas, and both of them are like, well, actually, if you look at their defense, and they'll go, and I'm a numbers guy, but they will just absolutely blow my mind with the stats they do.
Right.
And so Kevin said, hey, I'd like to record a little segment talking about numbers. So here he is. I still want to call
He's our bear, the bear. Remember I'm telling you about off college game day? And then now
he's turned out he moved to Fox and he doesn't do anything in front of the cameras anymore.
Yeah.
That's sad.
He's our bear.
He's our bear. Kevin might take that a different way. Here we go. Anyway, Kevin's corner.
All Tex Welding Supply Incorporated presents Week 14 by the numbers. Hello, everyone. Kevin McPherson here on Sideline to Sideline, looking back at Week 3 of the playoffs and ahead to Week 4, simply by the numbers. Let's start with the first number. It's 10. That is the number of consecutive trips to the fourth round of the playoffs by the Gunner Tigers. Last week, rolling over Henrietta. They're seeking their fourth consecutive state championship. But this is the first season under new head coach Jordan Gill. If that name sounds familiar, it should. He's the son of Eddie Gill, that Gordonwood product who led Whitesboro out of the playoff drought of 75 years a couple of decades ago. And of course, the Tigers continue their trek to an unprecedented fourth state championship as they face Leonard 7 o'clock Thursday night in Melissa. 9.9 is our next number. That's the average yards per carry for Carthage running back KJ Edwards. Last week against Pleasant Grove, he became the school's all-time leader in rushing yards and touchdowns. And, of course, the Bulldogs, 9-0 all-time against Pleasant Grove. They face Athens Friday night in Tyler at Rose Stadium. It's a rematch of their shootout in district play from several weeks back. Our next number, 9. That's the number of points per game given up by the Tidehaven defense. Tidehaven seeking to get back to AT&T Stadium after losing to Gunner 2 years ago. They last won a state championship way back in 1967. They tied Pilot Point in 1980 and shared a state championship. Our next number is 8. That is the magical yards per carry needed on 32 carries in order for Mount Enterprise's Kagan Ash to break Kenneth Hall's unsurmountable season rushing record of 4,045 yards. Ash has already broken the national scoring record with an unbelievable 476 points this season. Last week, he had a gaudy 6 touchdowns and 448 yards in a big win over Overton. They take on Bremond Friday night in Palestine, and the Sideline to Sideline crew will be there. 7. That's the number of consecutive wins by Wall of at least 48 points. The Hawks took care of Slayton 56-7 last week. They take on Idalou, which was a surprise winner of Canadian last week, Friday night in San Angelo, the 38th playoff appearance for Wall, but they're still a bridesmaid and not a bride, and they're looking for that first state championship. Could we be seeing a showdown with Gunner in 2 weeks? 6 is the number of games decided by 8 points or less for the Cinderella story Athens Hornets. 4-2 in those 6 games, but 3 of those have come in the playoffs. They had an 8-point win over Gilmer and By District that went down to the wire, an overtime 6-point win versus Crum, and last week, a 1-point win against Sunnyvale. The Hornets scored 51.5 points per game, but is that enough in the rematch with Carthage Friday night in Tyler? 5 is the number of touchdowns for quarterback Lincoln Maldred of Midland Greenwood, the dual threat quarterback last year. Look at these numbers: 4,200 yards passing and rushing, 45 touchdowns. Greenwood takes on third-ranked Brock Friday night at ACU's Anthony Field. 4 is the jersey number for Pottsboro quarterback Caden Humphrey. This season, more than 4,300 combined yards and 57 touchdowns. But Pottsboro, under Matt Poe, is still seeking its first state title. They play Grandview Friday night at Grapevine. 3, that's the number of years of existence for Crawford out of Fort Bend ISD. The Chargers were undefeated in District 12 4A, and they're led by quarterback Braylon Fisher, who has thrown for 39 touchdowns and more than 3,100 yards. His favorite target is Alvin Mosley with 20 of those touchdowns, more than 1,000 yards. They have another receiver just under 1,000 yards. They play Kilgore. This is a heavyweight match Friday night in Huntsville. 2, that's the number of playoff games in 2 seasons between West Plains and Stephenville. The number 1 Yellow Jackets and the number 4 Wolves. Could this be a de facto state championship? Last year, the Wolves snuck out with a 42-35 win over Stephenville. They play Friday night at Lowry Field in Lubbock. And finally, 1, it's the first undefeated regular season and quarterfinal appearance for the Comanches of Stinnett, West Texas. That's at least since the school consolidated in 1987. They're led by quarterback Cade Winters and what some say is the best offensive line in the state in their classification. They're taking on Cisco Friday night at Lubbock's Pirate Stadium. The Altex Welding Supply, Week 14, by the numbers. And remember, Altex Welding Supply is proud to be a supplier throughout the state of schools, businesses, and welders across Texas. Now back to Terry and Grant on the Sideline to Sideline podcast.
All right, we do appreciate
Good
Kevin.
job, Kevin. And by the way, you left your camera stabilizer holder thing in my truck. So
Oh yeah, we were using that for some things we won't talk about now.
Yeah, it might smell funny.
But we do appreciate Kevin. He's going to be a huge part of the show going forward, especially next year. As just like Coach X, he was let out to pasture. We did talk Kevin into staying and not going to Oregon, though. I don't know what it is about our people that love our show. They want to go to Oregon. It's really weird. But all right, we've done all the end stuff. Let's go ahead and jump right into it. Again, I want to remind everybody next week, it'll be a live show. It'll be a little different. This week, we're not running through things, but we're going to be pretty quick because we both need chicken soup and sleep. Anyway, sorry, hang on. I didn't mean to do that one for this one. Hang on. I meant to do this for us. Wait, where's it going? Here we go. All right. Let's start off Class 2A Division I Region Final in Region 1. We got West Texas 13-0 versus Cisco 12-0. 6 p.m. Friday at Lubbock's Pirate Stadium. You kind of saw this one coming for the last few weeks.
Yeah, you really did. Cisco's just been playing to their paper. 12-1, I believe, right? West Texas 13-0. The knock on West Texas I keep seeing or hearing is their defense, but they only give up just over 20 points a game.
Yeah, I know.
On average. Cisco enters the game with a good defense, 16 points a game on average that they give up. But I just go back to West Texas. I heard it said before, West Texas defense was better if it was better. But it looks good to me. They've given up some points in some big games, but name a program that hasn't, right? And I think the X factor, obviously, for West Texas is it's a broken record, but Cade Winters, a quarterback.
This is one of those rare games in this region finals all across all of our classes where it's not either a rematch of this season or a rematch of last season. This is a new matchup.
Yeah.
And I just keep going back to, at the end of the day, West Texas figures it out defensively. And I'm like you, I think people kind of knock their defense a little unfairly. I mean, when you have an offense like that, I'm not saying you let off the gas defensively, but defensively you can play it a little safer and be like, hey, if we give up some points, we're good because our offense is going to score 40 points. Now, how many times have we seen when we get into a region final where you have that team that offensively is great, but then this is the one game they struggle? How will that defense respond if they have to stop the Lobos?
Yeah, and we talk about Cade Winters, quarterback for West Texas. How about Colby McElroy, the quarterback for Cisco? He's a dual threat quarterback. He hasn't put up the dynamic numbers that Winters has, but he has kept the chains moving and has led this Cisco Lobo offense all year, and they're a pretty high scoring offense as well. I'm going to take Cisco in a slight upset here.
Yeah, this is, I was about to say, I don't even know if this is an upset. This is a pick'em game, and this is the way it should be in a region final. I'm going to go with West Texas. They're the hot team, but this feels like one of those games where in the fourth quarter, it's going to be 24-22. One of the teams is driving, trying to get either a field goal or a touchdown to win. This is one of the most pick'em games of a week of a ton of pick'em games.
Yeah, and I don't know what the weather is going to be up in Lubbock
and that's
on Friday,
big thing.
But it's likely to be windy and very cool.
Yeah, and the biggest thing is going to be this week. This is the week where weather might affect every region across the state. And you can't just escape to Thursday or Saturday because this is supposed to come in Wednesday night and stay through the weekend.
Yeah.
So you're going to have to play big boy football at this point. All right, let's go to Region 2. And this is a
rematch from a doozy last year, right?
Yes, but we got to talk about the monkey in the room. Yeah. Hamilton 11-2, Axtell 11-1. Friday at Robinson's Rocket Field. Last year, Hamilton held on in a defensive slugfest, 15-14. Axtell, though, this past week lost their all-everything quarterback, Levi Leathers. Great thing is he's a junior. Yeah. So he's going to be back. He's an Arkansas commit for baseball. And he has been like, Kenny Heath and I on the Central Texas show. I was on there last week and we talked about him. He is a very much Tim Tebow type of guy. Yeah. He's got a cannon of an arm. He's one of those guys, and I know it's cliche, but you and I always love these guys. If it's 4th and 3, he gets 4. If it's 4th and 12, he gets 13. They're going to miss that. But in saying that, and I know he's a big part of the defense as well, this Axtell team is built by their defense. So I still think this is a one-possession game.
Both teams live and die by that defense for the most part, right? Yes. Axtell's got a really good defense as well. I think this is going to be a low-scoring slugfest just like last year. I'm going to take Hamilton in a close one. Being that Levi Leathers is out for Axtell gives them one less option against that really good Hamilton defense. So I'm taking Hamilton in a close one, though.
You know what? I'm going to go with Axtell is filling their oats. You've got motivation now. You've got, the getting motivated and trying to win for your quarterback. And again, this defense, even with him not being there, is still really good. Last year was a 1-point game. I'm going to go with I guess it would be an upset. I'm not even sure it would be an upset. All right, let's go to Region 3. Hey, none of us picked this one as a region final. Joaquin 9-4 versus St. Augustine 9-4. Friday, 7:30 at Henderson Lions Stadium. And by the way, folks, in East Texas, dare I say Henderson's Lions Stadium has taken over from Rose Stadium?
Well, they've had a playoff game there every week.
And it's a wonderful facility. It's perfect.
I believe they had 2 one weekend, right?
Yeah, the Thanksgiving weekend, last weekend. Yeah. It is a one, and it's nothing against Rose. We love Rose, but man, love Henderson and everything they've done with the stadium.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about the game, the Rams versus the Rough Riders. What are you thinking?
Man, these two teams, both 9-4, had played one of the toughest schedules in 2A Division 1. Both of these teams can pretty much claim that, right?
Oh, yeah.
Joaquin with Cooper Bragg at running back, well over 1,500-1,600 yards so far this year. I kind of like Joaquin in a close one here.
Yeah, I know St. Augustine beat them 28-21 at the beginning of the year, beginning of district. I think that was the first district game for both teams.
Yeah.
But, man, it just feels like Joaquin is rolling. Our Honeygrove guy that always sends us information, he was just like, look, they're impressive. And they've kind of drummed Honeygrove. And I know Raylan Morris didn't play at 100%, but like even he said, it probably didn't matter.
Yeah.
Joaquin's physicality, they're not the biggest team, but man, they just execute so well.
Yeah.
And I know the Wolves beat them. I said Rough Riders earlier.
Just like Wolves. Last year, they're peaking at the right time this year as well.
Yeah, and I don't know why, and we might be totally wrong, but I feel like Joaquin might even be like a 10 to 14 point better in this one.
All right, how about the Region 4 final? 10-3 Mason taking on 12-0 Refugio at Hero Stadium in San Antonio on Thursday. Tomorrow, I guess tonight is what? Is today Wednesday?
Yeah, Wednesday.
Yeah.
One of the few Thursday games.
Yeah, two. The other one might not be great.
Yeah, well,
7 o'clock. Anyway, this Mason defense is pretty darn good, right? They're holding teams to about 2 touchdowns a game on average.
Yeah, but does this feel like one of those that
I don't know what you're going to say next, but by the tone of your voice, yes.
Yeah, Refugio's going to win going away. Like, this is one of those for you and I that love tradition. Mason and Refugio. Holy crap, this is going to be fun. And the punchers might hang around, but man, when you just look at Refugio's and what they've done, I just, man, again, until someone beats Refugio, I always go with Refugio, and I think this could be a 21-point game.
Yeah.
All right, let me flip over now. Again, doing this on the fly. Hey there, everybody. Let me go to 2A Division 2. Now, this is where it gets really, really fun. Hang on. Close out. All right, we will start in Region 1. Stratford 10-2 versus Groover 11-2, Friday, 7 p.m. at one of our favorite places, Canyons Happy State Bank Stadium. As you always like to say, this is one of those places, if the weather's an issue, you're going to feel it. It's out in the open. There's nothing to block it. You're going to get 30-mile-an-hour wind.
It's down in the ground. It's a berm, so that helps a little bit, but a lot of times that just makes the wind swirl.
I was about to say, until the wind drops down and starts swirling. And there is supposed to be, at times, in the Panhandle area down into West Texas, snow, and I even read earlier sideways snow. So this is going to.
I don't have enough experience with snow to know what sideways snow is, but it does not sound fun.
Okay, so I actually found out about that a few years ago when Studio and I went to Colorado, and we had so much fun. Except for we made the dumb decision to go in February. So we woke up with minus 12 degrees.
Wow!
And then we woke up having to go down what we learned later was called the Road of Death, because it ices up and it's always sideways snow. And folks, literally, I am not lying. There was snow.
2 things you should not be able to do anymore: vacation planning and hotel booking.
Hey, the hotel was awesome.
It was, but I mean, there's weird that I'm sleeping on top of the mattress pad, and then the sheet was under the mattress pad. I'm like, what the hell?
This was the weirdest place we went to this weekend. Like, it all looked good. It's like if you go look at
there was half a roll of toilet paper. I'm like, dude, as much as we eaten, I need about 8 times more than this.
First off, so when we got there, they're literally bringing like 200 things of, like, the dude just went to the store. The guy checks in, looks at our reservation, and goes, "Oh, hang on." And then just disappears for 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Doesn't tell us what he's doing. Comes back down and hands us the card, and literally he's like, "Good luck." We get there.
I think they had to haul the body out. Maybe the coroner never came and got this, so they wheeled him to the laundry room.
I felt so bad. I didn't even tell you that every time you flushed the toilet, it leaked to the side, and I had to take a towel and wipe it down.
So I thought you were just peeing on the floor.
Well, I mean, it really wasn't. By Saturday afternoon, after all the food we ate, it was like
oh god,
it was Slurrbond in the bathroom.
Slurrbond.
Anyway, let's get back into talking it. It's Stratford versus Groover. What are you thinking?
All right. Man, this is a good one. This is a Groover defense that's been good all year, and a Stratford offense with Chase Lattlemy at quarterback and Darvis Jones at receiver that has been putting up pretty big points, right? Thing is, Groover can move the football too with Briggs Satterfield at quarterback, another dual threat quarterback. It's got 3 really good receivers in Brock Butler, Mason Lankford, and Nicholas Shepard. Man, I don't know. I feel like this is maybe a toss up here as well. I'm going with Stratford in the close one.
Stratford won this going away in the regular season. I say going away, it was 13 points, but 40-27. And I kind of feel like it's going to be right at that point either. Now, again, weather, turnovers, all that, we can't ever predict that. But if things are even, I don't feel like Groover has done anything more this year to prove that they could beat Stratford. Though, last year they did beat them in district play and all that. But I like Stratford in this game.
All right, let's move down to the Region 2 final. The Kraut Bowl Part 2, Lindsay versus Munster over in Wichita Falls, 7 o'clock on Friday. There was a point in this season after the first Kraut Bowl that we thought that maybe Lindsay might not even make it back to the rematch, right?
Oh, yeah, they got beat up. First off, partly I think because and this is not a knock, as someone that used to do this in a big rivalry, I think Lindsay sometimes the Munster game affects them for a couple weeks.
Yeah.
And then they had a lot of injuries. And so you were wondering, okay, can they figure it out? Now, what they outside of Collinsville in the district, they had the lucky part of they got the easiest part of that district. They've gotten healthier since then. Now, in saying that, and I know I was looking at the projections on Dave Campbell, they feel this is a 14-point game. The only way I feel this is a 14-point game is if Munster just completely spits the bit. I still feel like this is Munster by 3 or 4 touchdowns.
I feel the exact same way. I just think
Munster's just on a different level,
athleticism and their physicality, and they're probably a little bit deeper as well.
Yeah,
right?
Well, definitely.
Yeah.
And look, Albany did a solid job defensively, and Munster still had like 400 total yards of offense.
Yeah.
And I love what Lindsay's done in this, and maybe this is the game they get them back. I don't know. It's. I think this is the first ever playoff game between these two. If we're wrong, Grant and Terry at S2SSport.com. I'll ask Coach Carney tomorrow. We're going to be recording the Munster football show on Thursday. Again, we're recording this one the Wednesday night. But yeah, this is one of those I feel like everybody's trying to make it closer because it's cool.
Right.
This is a cool rematch. I mean, again, as someone that knows rivalries, if we were to play Longview in the playoffs, holy crap, that'd be awesome. I just think Munster wins going away. All right, Region 3. I ain't gonna lie, I feel the same way about this one. Bremont 13-0 versus Mount Enterprise 13-0. 7 p.m. Friday at Palestine's Wildcat Stadium. Now you're gonna be at this game, right?
Yeah, I think me, Kevin, and Big Jimmy are gonna go down and watch this game. To me, it's a can't miss game. You got two premier running backs.
I agree 100%
going
on that.
head to head, man. Bremont's Tank Scott, and then of course everybody's favorite Mount Enterprise running back Kagan Ash. He's
32 carries away from breaking one of Kenneth Hall's record. Look, Kagan Ash is everything that's advertised, but so is Tank Scott, and
who's been beat up,
and that might be a factor. But also for me, this just feels like one of those games that Bremont's defense, when they just have to focus on one guy, they're going to make a bunch of stops. Ash will get some of his yards, but at the end of the day, I think the Tigers win. Bremont wins going 3 touchdowns. I really do.
You think it's that?
I kind of think
I'm going with Bremont. I think it's going to be a lot closer than 3 touchdowns.
I can see that.
And I hope it is. I don't want to get down to Palestine to watch a blowout. And the whole fact that we're driving 2 or 3 hours to go see this game means it is going to be a blowout. That's just how it works. Huh?
Where are you going to eat?
Some little steakhouse in Palestine, I believe, is where we're going to.
We have been enjoying the steaks this year.
Yeah.
Just want to say that.
But I'm going Bremont in a close one here.
Yeah, I have no problem with that.
I think it's going to be a very entertaining game, and this game could be over by 9:30.
Oh, yeah, with the way both teams run.
Yeah.
Or it could be at 11 o'clock because if both teams start scoring. And there is a possibility of that we could be hitting 60 to 65 type of game. All right, let's finish up Class 2A Region 4. Junction 13-0 versus Shiner 13-0 Friday at Hutto's Memorial Stadium. We've been there. We like it.
Yep.
This is another one that's not a rematch of this year, but they played last year in the playoffs. Shiner beat Junction, I think in this exact round, 27-0. And to be honest with you, I don't think it'll be any much different than that.
Well, the defenses are going to shine in this game.
I do think that. I think they'll be closer because of that.
Both teams have really good defenses, and both teams have played really pretty tough schedules as well. I'm with you. I think Shiner wins this game, but I do think it could be within 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, I think it's closer than 27-0, but I also don't think Shiner's ever truly in in danger of losing, if that makes sense. All right, that is Class 2A. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to be bringing on Coach X to talk Class 3. Playoff Tree's still a little quiet. He's still a little stunned about Pine Tree. We're letting him rest this week. He'll be back next week.
And he's an Aggie fan.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God, dude. The text we were getting about, I mean, there was a lot of, like, racist, and oddly, like, he was against Jewish players on Texas, and we're like,
it's weird.
Yeah, we're like, we don't even feel like there is anyone. It's really weird. Sometimes his East Texas shows, and it was a really tough one. So he'll be back next week on our live show for a big presentation. We can't wait for that. But we'll take a break and come back right here on Sideline to Sideline. Next up is 3A.
Hey, Coach, are you ready to elevate your locker room experience? Well, at H&H Locker Solutions, we pride ourselves on delivering the highest quality lockers at the lowest cost in the Southeast. As a coach-owned business based in Alabama, we understand the needs of the coaches and the players alike. Our mission is to improve your locker room and streamline your process, and we're coming to Texas. Did you know we offer a free locker program? That's right. We ship all across the USA, ensuring you get the best solutions tailored just for you and your program. Want to learn more? Drop a comment or give Coach Harris, a.k.a. Ty, a call at 256-458-4427, and let's take your locker room to the next level.
Lights are bright on Friday night. Fall in small
All right,
Texas
Sarah, been a
town.
great good one back here. Sideline to
People
sideline.
like
We now move into the Class 3A, and if you know what that means it's time for Coach X. Hang on, let me get over here to where it's a discombobulated day. I'm just going to say that now. How y'all doing? All right, here we go, Coach X. All right. Well, here we are in the region finals, and the only reason Terry won't release the picks is because they all know that I am winning. Yes, that is what people are saying all over. I hear them talking, and they're like, man, Coach X has the best picks. And that could have gone different.
Fantasy world, man.
I know, right? He is a great role model and one hell of a model American. I've often thought about giving tours of my home, or like when Kramer did the Peterman reality too.
Oh God, that was a funny episode.
I don't even watch Seinfeld, but I know that episode. And that is a funny episode. The Coach X reality tour, it's in the works. Come with Coach X and see the Chinese food place in Cram with their egg rolls, the used car dealership in Buhner that stole my toy when I was a lad, the gas station in Dangerfield that Grant defiled with his anus. No. To be fair, that took all of Grant. It's just your anus. That was the totality of Grant on that one.
I did not have my anus on a bingo card today.
You should. The axe I will use to destroy playoff tree.
Whoa, buddy. Hey, man.
Hey, man. He is grieving. He is grieving. He cannot accept that Marcel Reed is not good throwing the ball 7 yards down the field.
Marcel Menzel will be okay.
The Coach X Tour, $47.95 for the tour, or $100 per couple plus tips. Includes a shot of Kentucky Deluxe and a mini Kit Kat. Oh, shit, I'll sign up for that.
A mini Kit Kat?
Yeah, I love Kit Kats. That's my favorite candy.
I know, but a shot of whiskey, rot gut whiskey, and a mini Kit Kat.
Hey, and you wonder why we're sick every week. I gotta admit, I was really impressed when you pulled out the bean dip and the almond M&Ms after we had already been to the sports bar and ate 12 wings, cheese fries.
It was free, so we got like 10 every app about 5 times.
By the way, thank you. Bombshell actually saw that we had tagged them. They sent us a $75 gift card.
Ooh, we'll use it tonight after the show.
Is there a Bombshell up there?
Probably, maybe.
Let's just create one.
Maybe it might be in Mesquite. Yeah, never mind.
And I blame Grant, even though I'm the one that took the picture of what I was thinking was the food. And let's just say there was a prominent bombshell in the background, illegal motion in the backfield. All right, let's go to 3A Division 1 as we move along here. This is going to be fun. We're going to start Region 1, Peaster 12-1, Paradise 12-1, 7 p.m. Friday at Springtown's Porcupine Stadium. A rematch, a battle of
a game we were at, right? We saw Paradise outlast Peaster, making a couple of defensive plays late in the game to overcome Peaster. That's been, over a month ago, right?
Yeah. Feels like a completely different season, to be fair.
Yeah. This is going to be a dandy, man. I'm taking Peaster in that defense. I know Paradise has a great defense as well. Look, the winner of this game is just going to have to make the fewest mistakes. That's how close they are, right?
Yes.
And you offensively, you've got to be opportunistic when you do get the other defense out of their lanes or out of position. You've got to score or move the football. That points are going to be precious in Springtown on Friday. I'm taking Peaster in. I guess that'd be an upset because Paradise won the first one, but I think Peaster might win this ball game.
I'm just going to go with Paradise simply because they won the last one. This game is a one-possession game. I think the winner might get to 20. I think last time it was 21-15. This is one of those that I know there's some pick'ems and then there's not some pick'ems. This is a true pick'em.
Yeah.
The only thing that I will be shocked by is if one team wins going away.
Yeah, and I just cannot see that happen without the other team just shitting the bed or something, right? On turning the ball over a bunch.
And we have, like, going into this and then the next region, we have the perfect experiment thought process of football today because you've got two teams in Region 1 that are absolute, on paper, defensive beast.
Mm-hmm.
And whoever they play coming out of Region 2, which will be, let's go ahead and go to that, Pottsboro versus Grandview. These are two teams that they don't play terrible defense, but they're offensive minded. So we're going to have this great experiment no matter who wins next week of, is it defense or offense in this era today? Let's go ahead and talk about it.
That wins championships, right?
Yes, exactly. Pottsboro, Grandview Friday, Grapevines, Mustang Panther Stadium.
I tell you what, I'm taking Pottsboro in this one. I mean, Caden Humphrey at quarterback, we've seen several times now how just unstoppable he is, both with his arms and his legs. Oh, and he's got two of the better receivers in 3A Division I and Xavier Brady and Trace Olson. And the defense is a lot better than what people think, if you're more balanced of an offense, you can move the football on Pottsboro. And Grandview is a little bit more balanced, right?
Yes.
So I think they'll be able to move the football, but I just don't really see Grandview being able to stop Caden Humphrey. Give me Pottsboro, but I think it is close.
Yeah, first off, this is a high-scoring game. Second off, both defenses struggle. Look at last week. Both teams won basically because the team they were playing tried 2-point conversions with trick plays. I'm all for trick plays, but there is a time in a game when you need to make a play. And again, if it works, we don't talk about it. Same thing with Columbus. They did the 3rd and 2 thing where they did a wide receiver end around and then he threw the ball. On 3rd or 4th and 2.
Yes.
If that doesn't work, we're having the same conversation. It works. So you go, okay, that worked. But I still contend when you're needing to make a play and you need a 2-point conversion, I don't think you should be going with guys that are trick play guys. But still, that just shows to me that these two teams are going to give up a ton of points, but it's going to be an exciting game. Yeah. I've got Pottsboro. All right, let's go to Region 2. This is our 3. This is a rematch we weren't expecting. Yoakum 11-2 versus Columbus 11-2, 7 p.m. at Bastrop's Memorial Stadium. Again, I cannot state how impressed I was with Columbus's offense.
Yeah.
I knew their defense was going to be good. I didn't know they were going to shut down Franklin that well. Franklin basically moved the ball on the first drive at ease, and then, boom, couldn't do anything the rest of the game.
Yeah.
The linebackers for Columbus, holy crap, the athleticism and just knowing their responsibilities. They weren't fooled by shitty guard reads. They weren't fooled when they went. I mean, dude, we've said it before.
And they physically own the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball.
Yes.
And defensively, they forced Franklin into doing what they did not want to do.
Throwing the ball.
They started throwing the ball, and it was not effective. They got some yardage out of it, but I mean, Franklin's not going to win ball games throwing the football. But how impressed I was with this Columbus offense again. Doc Cantu, that running back, he's just young, dude. Yes, I know he's going to be a household name.
He needs to figure some things out.
Right.
And I think you're seeing that maturation. But, man, there were times in that game where it was, it's those 2nd and 8s where you don't necessarily need the first down, but you need to make it where 3rd and short, and he would get 7 yards.
Yeah.
And then they would just fall forward. But I want to go back real quick because you and I said this before the game. we can't do the same metrics as past defenses because it's just a different game. But I would put Columbus's defense in today's era, again, in today's era, folks, up against anything that Dangerfield did in 83, Pittsburgh in 80, Van in 79, some of the greatest defenses of all time. I think Columbus in 3A has rightfully taken that place.
Yeah, too. Now let's talk about their opponent here,
Hey.
Yoakum, who's played. They're 11-2, have played a murderer's row of a schedule, right? And man, look, Xavier Bennett, receiver for Yoakum, might be one of the best receivers in the state, right?
Yeah.
And they, Yoakum, the Bulldogs will try to get the ball in his hands every which way possible. So I think he'll be able to stretch that Columbus defense a little bit. But Columbus wins this ball game.
Yeah, in regular season, it was 28-10 Columbus, which was a close game. It was closer than the score, but still, I just don't think anything has changed from that, other than I think maybe Columbus's offense has finally figured out, hey, let's just grind down teams with that running game. Man, that, again, going back to Cantu, that pitch to Cantu, and then go up the middle. And then they would pull out a bootleg or something with the quarterback. It just feels like the offensive play calling has finally matched what this offense does. I think earlier in the year they were trying to do things they did last year.
Mm-hmm.
And I get that. You won state with that. So that's what you assume you're going to do. And I think Coach Schobel and this offensive staff over the last 5 weeks have done a really good job of adjusting the play calling to the strength of the offense. I think Columbus wins by 14. All right, this is what Coach X has to say. Well, Columbus, you proved me wrong last week. I think that's the only pick I've missed all year. Man. So relish it, huh? Yeah, I guess. So relish it because it doesn't happen often. Like in that line in Tommy Boy. Tommy want wingy. I love that part. I said it last week. Columbus versus Franklin was a state game, and I stand by it. Columbus wins this week. Congrats to your boys, Mr. Grove. And it was good to see Jeremy at the stadium.
That's right.
First time I'd actually met him in person.
Yeah.
Over the years, me and him talk 1,000 times on Facebook. It was the first time I met him.
Good dude, man. Good dude.
Look, I know we all love our teams. I don't know if there's another one that's just so deeply connected to his town as much as Jeremy is, even though he doesn't live there anymore. All right, let's go on to Region 4. We got Llano versus Edna. Llano 12-1, Edna 10-3. San Antonio's Gustafson Stadium, 7 p.m. It's kind of funny because this is a game that we kind of thought would happen, but both of these teams took kind of weird paths too here, especially Edna.
Yeah. Llano's 12-1, Edna 10-3. Edna's played a pretty tough schedule on their own right. Look, Llano with Luke Davis, quarterback, Cash Lynch, at receiver, pretty good, solid defense. I like Llano in this game.
Yeah, I like the Yellow Jackets too. Their only loss on the year was to 4A Gerald, 40-29. Edna started the year struggling against great teams: 4A Bay City,
Right.
2A Refugio, Orange Grove, all three good teams. And then they kind of found their path going forward. We were really impressed with what they did to Goliad in district, 37-28. And look, I know Ingram Moore was a great story, but them struggling last week with Ingram Moore, I kind of thought they'd win that game going away. I think this is a close game, don't get me wrong, but I do have Llano winning it.
Yeah, it should be a pretty good ball game.
All right, we now turn our attentions to Class 3A Division 2. Hang on, let me put that up as we're rocking and rolling tonight. Oh, hang on, we were. I always forget how to do this on-night show night for some reason. Been doing it long enough. You'd think I'd figure it out, but there we go. Class 3A Division 2. Let me close these. Oh, okay. Well, we'll just have to go Class 3A Division 2 from here right now. Who do we got first?
All right, let's go Region 1. Idalou 10-3 versus 13-0 Wall over in San Angelo Friday, 6 o'clock. Man, Idalou, pretty darn good. Played a tough schedule. Defense is somewhat solid, giving up just under 20 points a game. But when you want to talk about defense, it starts and ends with Wall. Their defense only allows 6 points a game.
Well, look, you and I have been Wall fans even before we went out and saw them. I think as far as teams we cover, they're one of the most complete teams, because if they need to win an offensive shootout, they absolutely can. And then if it becomes a 14-17 type game, they absolutely can win that as well. I'm not going to back off. You and I have said all year long, we feel it's Wall and Tidehaven in the state championship game. I don't think anything's changed on that.
Well, I think a lot of it will come down to the winner of Wall and then maybe Gunner next week. That's going to be a doozy. I plan on being at that game if it happens. Let's not put the cart ahead of the horse.
Yep.
But Wall, again, going back to their defense, how good it is. But Landon York at quarterback and Reed Robertson at receiver those are two dynamic players that can put up points, and they play behind that great defense. So, yeah, give me Wall all day long in this one. And then let's go down to the Region 2 final. Leonard 9-4, Gunner 12-1 over at Kenny Dill Stadium in Melissa on Thursday at 7. Again, one of the nicest stadiums in the DFW Metroplex.
And Leonard's played here before. Both of them have, actually.
Yeah, but that being said, I'm not going to this game because, A, it's going to be a little damp and cold. I could probably get, press box credentials, but I'll stay home and just watch it online with a cold drink and some pot roast or something. I don't know.
That sounds good.
Yeah. So I like them. So anyway, I like Gunner in this one all day long. Is it going to be closer than the last one?
I guess I will say it will be closer, just in theory. Gunner won 44-0 in the regular season. Jacoby Cook for Leonard will have to have the game of his life. He's their all everything. He plays offense, he plays defense, special teams. He's one of those guys that he's going to need to throw for 200, which he doesn't really throw a ton, run for 200, and probably have a couple interceptions, and they still might lose by 3 touchdowns. Look, I love what Leonard has done. This is, I think, the furthest they've ever been, or close to the furthest they've ever been. Justin Dozier, he was the Allen offensive coordinator. He was one of those big guys. He has come in and really set a program that's learning to win.
Yeah, it doesn't end Thursday night.
It doesn't,
no matter what.
No, it doesn't. But it's not going to be pretty.
Right? No,
but
it won't be.
This is one of those this is one of those games that.
But taking your lumps in the 4th round of the playoffs,
yes.
I'll take that.
Leonard will look back at this and not remember the score in 5 or 6 years. And I do think as long as he stays there, this is the start of something, because Leonard's always had athletes. They just never had that consistency. All right, Coach X says, dude, here we go. Here we go.
Oh, no, I forgot about this.
Yeah. Dude, did y'all see that ref go batshit crazy in the Gunner game? That was awesome. Dude made ESPN on Sunday. I almost made ESPN one time for something similar to that. Yes, I did. Shut up, Grant. You don't know. Neither do you, playoff Tree.
I do know. And shut up.
I was on ESPN for a lumberjack competition. Don't say that in front of fans. See, he's purposely trying to hurt playoff Tree.
He'll get him back next week, I'm sure.
Yeah, that's right. What do you say now? Anyway, give me Leonard.
Hey, did you know during that officiating crew that White Hat?
This is crazy.
Yeah, that flipped out on the Henrietta player. That was the same White Hat and crew that called the Gilmer Athens game in by district this year in Henderson
that we were at, and we noted, man, this is a really good crew. They don't call shit.
Yeah, they don't. Obviously, it backfired on them, right?
Yeah, it backfired. That was one of those. I don't know if I blame anybody.
I don't blame. Well,
it just got weird.
If you're the adult,
you got to be again. Whether it's fair or not, if you're the adult, you got to be the adult. And just look, if you want to do the cry thing, that's fine. Just don't throw the shoe.
Yeah.
I mean, what are you talking to George Bush? Remember that back then when the Iraqi reporter?
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, let's go to Region 3. ARP 12-1 versus Newton 12-1.
Man, Friday. 2 12-1 teams, dude.
Lubbock.
Yeah.
Lufkin's. I said Lubbock. Well, that's a long trip. Lufkin's. Martin Stadium.
They find somewhere closer to maybe meet in the middle. I don't know.
Look, I love what ARP has done this year.
Me too, man.
But does not ARP feel a lot like Troop and kind of the same built team? And look what Newton did to them.
Well, and look what Troop did to ARP.
Exactly. So I kind of feel like.
But look, ARP's defense is too good and too proud to just lay down in this game. I think Josh Smith, the running back for ARP, gives the Tigers some hope. Now, again, they're going against a 12-1 Newton team who, look, their one loss was to West Orange Stark, who is where right now? That's
Still
right. In the
playing.
region finals, 4A. And they were, I think Newton was driving as time ran out inside the 10 or on the 10, something like that, to score to go up on Western Star. So that's how good this Newton team is. Team speed, and a defense that only allows 10.5 points a game. Kendra Porter, running back, freshman quarterback, Isaiah Foster. Look,
Wait, is he a Foster?
Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah. Another Foster.
Stop producing so much talent, Fosters. Gee.
Newton's just on a different level right now.
Does it not feel like, we keep talking Tidehaven and Wall or Gunter and Wall, and we keep being told by multiple coaches that we trust that, folks, this Newton team's back to Newton.
Oh, yeah.
And they throw the ball more. And I didn't mean to say, and I guess I need to clarify this. When we talk about a team like Newton and we say they don't throw the ball, I'm talking about in today's standards where another team will have 3,900 yards while Newton will have 1,300 yards. I don't mean y'all can't pass. I'm just saying in the dichotomy of what is today's football, y'all don't throw the ball a lot. So that's my fault for not clarifying that. Newton can throw the ball when they need to. And Newton is just on another level. Great season by Art, but I just don't think they get close.
It said Wall, Gunner, winner versus Tidehaven. I mean, shoot, Tidehaven, if they beat East Bernard, I mean, Tidehaven Newton will be a dandy. Like, who's going to win that one? Dude, that one's crazy.
Yeah.
So I like Newton. You like Newton, right?
Yeah, I think it could get ugly.
Yeah. All right. Region 4 final is Tidehaven 13-0 versus a 9-4 East Bernard team who has played one of the tougher schedules in 3A, right?
Yeah,
Division 2.
I mean, we talked about them in passing, but we did not talk about the Brahmas enough. I mean, they started off the year, but they lost by 6 to Goliad. They lost by 7 to Ganado. They lost by, they did get their doors blown off, but it's Woodland Christian, which would be like a 4A team, basically. And since then, man, they have been on an absolute roll. They lost to Tidehaven in district, and it was ugly, and therefore I don't think they get any close. I mean, I think they get closer, but it's still going to be a 3 or 4 touchdown.
Yeah, I mean, this Tidehaven defense is going to be a tough nut to crack. And then Kel Russell, the quarterback, just means so much to that offense. And he's got, a great receiver in the Galvin kid, Julian Stockton at receiver. But I keep going back to just how just tough that Tidehaven defense was against Goliad when we saw them. And yeah, I like Tidehaven here.
All right, that is Class 3A in the books. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to reset and do it all for 4A right here on Sideline to Sideline.
Coach Surratt came in 2007, and really what's remarkable about him is how quickly he turned the program around.
The biggest challenge here was just to change the mindset. Obviously, we want a winning culture, but the first thing you got to instill is, toughness. It don't matter if it's volleyball, football, baseball.
He's put Carthage on the map to a great extent.
All right, Terry Grant went back here, sideline to sideline. Oh, I thought I had the right one up. I guess I didn't. It's, again, been one of those weird days. As we're going to start or finish the show, 4A Division 1. Let's get to it. We're going to start out, of course, where did that go? Oh, there we go. Region 1, what a hell of a matchup. Look, all the regions in Class 4 Division 1 are awesome, but especially the first two. Canyon, West Plains, 12-1. Stephenville, 13-0. Friday, Lubbock's Lowry Field. This has everything you want.
West Plains got the best of them last year, right?
Yes, they did in a classic. I think it was like 42. Let me check. I want to make sure I got the score right. I think it was like 42-32 or something like that. But
something like that, yeah. Canyon West Plains, their quarterback Reed Macon is going up against a Stephenville defense. It's just been just so solid all year. CJ Spillmeyer and Hudson Butchie have anchored that defense, and it's hard to move the football consistently on the Yellow Jacket defense.
Last year was 42-35. I want to go back, though, to the one West Plains loss was against Argyle Liberty Christian, 41-35. And if I was going to compare Stephenville to any team that they have seen this year, it's Liberty Christian, a team that can be physical, has a couple of 5-star, 4-star, 3-star, and I don't really know their stars, guys. We don't really pay attention to that. But guys that are going to be playing D1 ball.
Right.
And West Plains struggled defensively. Other than that, West Plains dominated other offenses defensively, but you don't know, I don't know how much you can take from that.
Well, Stephenville, look, they can be balanced. Trot Jordan, quarterback, has a great, accurate arm. And then they've got Zyler McClendon at running back behind one of the better offensive lines in 4A Division I, right?
Yes.
West Plains has a great offensive line. Salina has a great offensive line. I mean,
it's like if good teams have offensive lines, they go far.
Right. I don't know. It's almost like the game, good teams are built from the trenches out. Maybe. I don't know. Have you ever heard that before? But look, I like Stephenville in this ball game, but I think it's going to be a classic. Man, it's in Lubbock, Lowry Field. We know how cold and windy it can get there, right? You remember that game we were at? Years ago.
Don't bring it up.
I won't bring that part up, but it was cold. And it's going to be cold and windy again.
Actually, it'll be cold. It'll be 61. So Lubbock in December and 61 is like a sauna.
Oh, that's not bad.
But it will be. It'll be like in the 40s by game time.
That's cold and windy to me.
I will. I mean, both as we get older. I will admit, I feel like Stephenville will win, but I've went with West Plains all year long, and I have said all year long that they were going to get back at least to the region or to the state semifinals. So I don't feel comfortable with either one of these picks, but I'm going to go West Plains in the close.
Okay. All right.
Again,
I have no problem with that.
I don't think we can be. I don't think you're wrong with any reasoning of why we pick whoever we pick in this.
Yeah, and I'll take Stephenville in a close one. All right, they'll take on the winner of the Region 2 final winner, Alvarado 12-0 versus undefeated 13-0 Salina over at Mansfield's Newsom Stadium on Friday, 7:30. A lot of the concern this week was Salina's quarterback, Bo Bentley. I believe it was a concussion that knocked him out last week. From what I understand, he's good to go this week. And that Salina defense is going to have their hands full with DeMarcus Belton from Alvarado. That kid can do it all. I think at the end of the day, that Salina offensive line, though, is just going to bear down on that defensive front from Alvarado, and it might be slow death, them running the football. But I do think the Indians with DeMarcus Belton can make this interesting.
Look, I know in the same point last year, Salina absolutely dominated Alvarado.
This is a better Alvarado team this year, though.
I look at what Alvarado did last week to Springtown, a team that's kind of built like Salina with a good, solid running game, good receivers, and a solid offensive line. But Kane Hill is the guy it's the juice.
Right.
And Alvarado snuffed that juice out last week.
Yeah.
That was impressive to me. But in saying that, then I look at the game against Sulphur Springs where they're playing a backup quarterback and they have to hold on and win 51-43.
I was at that game.
Yes.
And Sulphur Springs fought tooth and nail.
By the way, the backup quarterback for Sulphur Springs would start for like half the state, if not more.
Yeah, but I think Alvarado, Alvarado's going to play. They're going to play close for a while. I just don't know if that defense is going to hold up to what Salina's able to do to them. Salina's so big and physical.
I'm going with Alvarado.
Are you really?
Yeah. It'll be a close one. You got to call an upset here or there because they're going to happen whether we get them right or not.
Right.
Someone's going to be someone we're not expecting to. All right, Region 3, Kilgore 12-1 versus Fort Bend Crawford 12-1, 7 p.m. Friday, man. Huntsville Stadium. By the way, Huntsville ISD Stadium, a very underrated stadium. Fort Bend Crawford, a very underrated team. I kind of like the way Matt Stepp talked about, like, you don't really, like, there's something about these schools, whether it be Fort Bend Crawford, Iowa Colony before they jumped up, Anna. Now, Anna had been around for a while, don't get us wrong, but there's just like, you don't understand, Davenport, we don't really understand the identity of Crawford other than they're deep. They're deep.
Right.
Because they're already at 5A numbers, so they're deep.
Well, we know they have Braylon Fisher.
And he is, and by the way, just
I mean, that's one hell of a quarterback.
3,900 yards passing, I think.
Yeah.
Like 39 touchdowns.
And probably one of the most electric receivers in the state, Alvin Mosley.
And doesn't that feel a lot like Anna when Anna won state? Remember?
Yeah.
And it was supposed to be, that was after they supposedly lost their everything quarterback.
Right.
And then a new dude steps in and he proceeds to throw for 4,500 yards as they win state. But Kilgore's different, man.
Dude, we saw Kilgore absolutely snuff the hopes and dreams out of a pretty decent Bridge City Cardinal team last week in person. When Kilgore wants to buckle down, man, they're going to be hard to beat. Give me Kilgore in this.
By the way, we enjoyed meeting the SCTX crew that was there. We had to stay in the same. I don't get Randall Reed. By the way, any architect, put us a press room in stadiums. The second stadium, Tomball did it so well. We had our own actual press room, even though we still had a broadcaster in there. Just do that for us. But we enjoyed meeting them and hanging out with them. But yeah, it was like 2 drives.
Do that for us specifically?
Yeah, just us. All press boxes.
Weird.
I don't care.
We may or may not come.
Whether it be Texas, University of Texas, A&M, there should be a room that's just sideline to sideline. But no, and I think Crawford is way better than Bridge City. I think this is a one possession game.
I do too.
But I think Kilgore at the end of the day, just defensively, man, they are so physical.
Yeah, they are. And I mean, just up front, how
and
big
they can
are.
run zero coverage with their corners.
Oh, yeah.
And just be like, we dare you to throw. You might get 1 or 2 on us, but we're going to win most of those battles.
Yeah. All right. They'll take on the winner of the Region 4 finals, San Antonio Davenport, 13-0 versus the Lavernia, 12-1 over at Comalander Stadium in San Antonio on Friday, 7:00. Woo, buddy, this is a good one. That big offensive line for Lavernia. Davenport, pretty good size on both sides of the ball. Give me Davenport in this one.
You know, this was the game last year when Lavernia kind of announced themselves to the state after having a few losses. They go into this game. I'm sorry, that was OBJ. They beat. My fault.
Yeah.
I got mistaken. In saying all that, again, going back to Davenport and Crawford, you saw them in person. I didn't get to go, and you said they have great athleticism, but you also were like, there's something.
There wasn't any explosiveness on the offense, but I think they're able. They've got good size, a great offensive and defensive line, so they can win. Not being flashy.
Yes.
I think that's where we're seeing. And they are deep. So give me Davenport, though I do think this one could be an excellent, excellent game.
Give me Lavernia. All right, here's what Coach X has to say. How come every week y'all keep saying is Dorkenport for what does this deal with Davenport?
I don't know.
Are y'all smoking peyote before y'all go on the air? Wait, we can do that?
I don't think peyote exists in this area anymore. You
Really?
can't get it. I don't know.
I bet we can get a lot of
Do you
stuff.
know
in
any
this area.
Indians? I mean, Indians.
Whoa!
Sorry if you're an Indian.
Wait, what? They're like 13-0, and y'all yammer back and forth that they didn't know who we were when we went to the stadium. BFD. What do you expect on your Terrence Bennett III and your sidekick Grant? Oh, so you're my sidekick now. I like you, Coach X. I really respect.
The last 2 years, this fella has really turned on me and my tree.
Because you gave up reading. I'm telling you, if you would go back to reading it, he would love you again. Oh, yes, coming to our stadium. Here's the key to the city. Would you like a night with my daughter? Yes, that's what should happen when sideline to side. Well, depending on the age of the daughter.
Oh, yeah, I was about to say.
We don't
No,
want her
I'm
too
going to step
old.
back. I'm
We don't want her too
removing
old.
myself from this
Yeah, we
conversation.
don't want her too old.
Right.
Too old. Give me Dorkenport. So he's going with Davenport as well. All
And I like him like Ed Gein, not too warm.
Wow, dude.
Sorry.
You're not even drinking tonight.
Am I not?
That's just sober Grant thoughts right there, man. Told you it's dark, man. All right, let's go and finish up 4A Division 2. We start in Region 1. What?
They're not seeing that.
You see the commercial? No, guys. Everybody.
That's Coach X's driver's license. They're not seeing that, right?
Okay, I hope no, but I hope everybody. Hey, Matt, we're helping you. Everybody, go to Texas Football, load in the times and locations, and every ad is a Texas Initiatives new policy for senior drivers. Hang on, in real time, I got to take a picture of this. We're going to post
Coach
it.
X is John Driver.
If you ever wanted to know what Coach X looks like, it's this
Little
dude.
Ned Flanders.
It is a little Ned. Well, howdy, hello, neighbors. I might take your kids later on and take them into the back. All right, anyway, let's get back serious here. 4A Division II. I think this is the matchup we all thought was going to be all year long.
Yeah.
Greenwood 13-0 versus Brock 13-0 Friday, Abilene's Wildcat Stadium at 7 p.m. Look, I know Lincoln Mildred is a great quarterback. I love what Greenwood has done, but you and I have said this all year. I think they're a great Region 1 team.
Mm-hmm.
I think Brock is good enough that if you put them in Region 2, they would be playing Carthage in the region final. Yeah. I think Brock with Holt Frazier, Colt Matlock, a running game that has become so diversified. They'll run 7, 8 kids. Almost, it's like they combined what Chad Royal likes to do with running game, where you're just throwing bevy of backs, as we like to say, and then you got that passing game. And then nobody is talking about a Brock defense that just has been. I mean,
Brock has always hung their hat on defense, so they've done it for so long. You just take it for granted.
Exactly. And again, I'm not saying they're like historically great, but I kind of feel like they are kind of historically great with what they've done this year. I think Greenwood will be able to do.
Well, they're going to need that defense the next 2 rounds.
Well, yeah,
right,
100%. Yeah.
Okay.
I think this.
I like Brock.
Yeah, I think this is more like a Decatur Brock. It was like 63-31. I don't think Brock will have a problem scoring. I do think the Rangers will give them some issues. Now, again, in saying that, man, if you get that 20-hour wind out there, 20-per-hour wind out there, and the ball starts bouncing weird things can happen. But I don't really feel like it's going to be that. Coach X says,
I think if it gets windy and nasty, Brock just takes the air out of the ball.
Yeah,
and starts pounding.
But can't Lincoln Madrid do the same thing?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, but Brock's got a really good run defense. I think it's just going to be tough either way for the Rangers.
All right, Coach X says, if you combine these 2 schools, what do you get? Seems to me you have a good name for an attorney. Wife cheating on you, needed a divorce, did some Indian man steal you. What is it with you two and Indian comments
Wait,
tonight?
What was it? He said Indian what?
Did some Indian man steal your life savings?
What?
Hire a
Indian?
I don't know. Why.
Indian man.
Indian man.
Now, I was Indian. He's thinking he's like Curry Indian is what he's talking about. An Indian scammer.
You remember on our old company that every week before we had I feel
Things
like
we could say.
I feel like I need to say I am. No, not that one. I'm talking about Chris. I feel like I need to say I'm Terry Bennett, and I do not acknowledge or accept any of the things that Coach X and Grant Goodwin have to say.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of Indian of Asian descent from the Asian continent that are listening to the show.
Hire a goon to beat up your bully and it took a turn for the worse? If the answer is yes to any of these, call Brock Greenwood, attorney at law, 817-555-5613. Text that number, everybody. The last 4 numbers is what I think the score will be. Brock wins. I legitimately think that Brock Greenwood sounds maybe kind of like a porn star. I'm just saying. And by the way, we don't
have enough experience with that to know. I do have experience with attorneys, and I agree with Coach X and what he had to say.
All right, let's go to Region 2. We've got ourselves a rematch, which was a great game in season. Athens 11-2 versus Carthage 13-0 Friday. Tyler's Trinity Mother Francis Rose Stadium. As much as we love Henderson, TMF Rose Stadium is still awesome. I don't want to act like I'm knocking that. I'm just saying,
I love it, man.
I'm just saying Henderson has kind of presented themselves as another great option.
Yeah.
Look, I know, first off, I love what Athens has done. We were on them as dark horse early.
Man, David Richardson, dude.
He is
that quarterback. And with his receiver, Emmanuel Moore, was that duo not unstoppable against Gilmer?
Yeah, dude.
And they were almost unstoppable against Carthage earlier in the year. This is going to be a different game, though.
Yeah, I almost feel like the worst thing that they did was play Carthage so good.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, again, until they prove us wrong, when you get Scott Surratt and his coaching staff together and say, okay, we've played this team before, let's now.
And we're not playing with their food. I'm not saying
Yes.
they did that in the first game, but I like Carthage deep in the playoffs. They're focused 100%. KJ Edwards is going to come to eat. Chat Surratt going to stretch that defense, and I think the Carthage defense will start tightening the screws also.
Yeah, because I mean, when you look at this Carthage defense all year, it's such a weird number when it's 34 to Chapel Hill, but they score 56, 0, 3, 14, 56 Athens, and then after that 7, 3, 8, 34, 35, and then 20. And that 20 was against a Pleasant Grove offense that had started to mature. Folks, Pleasant Grove next year, holy crap, they're going to be good.
Right.
I like Carthage in this one, and I don't even think this might be close, man.
I don't either. I look for Carthage to have this one by 3 touchdowns this go around.
All right, we got a rematch in Region 3. West Orange Stark 10-3 versus La Vega 11-2 Friday at Shenandoah's Wood Forest Bank Stadium. Look, you and I saw La Vega get just absolutely dismantled by Stephenville.
Mm-hmm.
And it's unfortunately for them, it's left a sour taste in our mouth, which isn't fair because they legitimately were beat up. Even though their 2 studs play, the quarterback and the receiver, there was a lot of players around them that didn't. You could kind of tell early on. In fact, I think the coach basically said, like, we're just trying to get through this game.
Right. How many points did they give up against Stephenville? They gave up a lot.
64.
Yet their defense throughout the year has only given up 17 on average.
That's including giving up 36 to Salina, dude.
Yeah. Yeah. And in this offense with Courtney Parr, man, Jabari Thornton at receiver, but that Parr has been a special quarterback for that La Vega offense. The thing is, look, and this La Vega defense is good, man. Kelvy Johnson, though, for West Orange Stark is really going to test that La Vega defense. It's been so good all year. And it's not like West Orange Stark doesn't have a great defense. I mean, they don't give up many more yard or points a game than La Vega does, and both have played killer schedules, right?
Oh, including each other.
Right. And that first go around, La Vega won. What was that score? I do not remember.
44-20. Let me look it up to be safe.
It was like 3 touchdowns.
44-20. Yeah, it was actually 4. Look,
this is going to be closer than that.
I agree with that, but
I'm taking La Vega, but I can see where the Mustangs come out victorious in this, but I am going to take the Modoc Pirates.
I 100% agree with everything you said. This feels like one of those rematch games that the team that lost gets better because I think as a team they've gotten better. But in saying that, it's kind of the same thing we said about what La Vega and Lamarck. Everything West Orange Stark does, La Vega does, and I think they do it better.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think at the end of the day, that's just going to be too much for them.
Yeah.
All right, let's finish up the show with a absolute. I don't think
if you want to see points scored, go to this game.
I don't think this game's getting talked about enough. Cuero 12-1, Sinton 12-1. Friday 7 p.m. at San Antonio's Hero Stadium. Sinton finally can break through that regional ceiling.
Yeah.
If they can get past the team that they led for 3.5 quarters against and then collapsed a week after Cuero had led 3.5 quarters against another team and collapsed.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on this?
Cuero won the first one, 56-55 on October 17th.
20-point fourth quarter deficit.
Dang.
So that's the talk you and I always have, though, when we're driving. Okay, what do you value more? The comeback or that for Sinton 3 quarters basically dominated them? It's such a quandary of how do you validate either side of that?
Yeah, I don't know that you do.
Yeah.
Unless you just know the team intimately and you see them every week, you can't really value or devalue anything. You can just go
I agree.
What you see.
And that's what makes it hard.
Look, both offenses are loaded. Cuero with Jackson Marie at quarterback, Camelo Perez at running back, Walker Dietz at receiver, and then Sinton's everything Micah Green at running back, who's probably one of the best running backs in this classification. I'm going Sinton on this one. I think Sinton wins. I think it could be another classic. I like Sinton by a touchdown.
Yeah, I agree. And I do feel like at times you go, hey, the team that came back, congratulations. But Sinton for most of that game was dominating.
Yeah.
You talked about Micah Green. In that game, he had 269 yards, 6 touchdowns. And nobody talks about Quincy Best, their sophomore quarterback. 141 yards and 1 touchdown in that game. And he's not asked to do a lot. Throw it 14 times, complete 8 of them, and you're going to rock. I feel like they'll play a little bit better defense. Give me Sinton in that one. And that is going to do it for Class 4A, 3A, and 2A. Again, next week we will be live on the show, and we'll go a little longer. We'll have Coach X.
I might record my segments.
Oh, you're just going to record it?
And I'll send it to you. You can
like
play
Kevin
it
did?
live.
Oh, I get it. Okay.
Yeah.
And I'll just respond. Oh, really, Grant?
Yes.
And then you'll say something about engines or Indians. And
No. I'm going to put this a little bit more politically correct.
Oh, okay.
And I wasn't meaning to be politically incorrect. I was just being honest.
Well, wow. I think that went more. By the way, on that point, any questions, thoughts, or to tell Grant he's wrong, email us at grant@terry@s2ssport.com.
I'm the Morty.
Wait, Rick and Morty?
No.
Oh, Morton Downey Jr.? How do I get that from you? Dude, you know, for the longest time, I thought him and Robert Downey Jr. were like kin.
Are they not?
No.
Oh.
It always confused me because both of them had juniors' names. But anyway, that's going to do it for this year. This song's playing on for
If I had named Junior.
We need a new song for next year. We need a lot of new things for next year. Taking host, rehearsals and all that. Oh,
You're leaving?
Oh,
dude, I'm
I
sorry.
didn't know you were here. Anyway, that's going to do it for us this week. Be safe in your
See you in
travels.
Palestine.
See you in Palestine if you're going to be there. I'm going to be in studio. I'm going to have all the things. Oh, by the way, speaking of, tomorrow night, intern Noe the Pro and I do a live Cowboy watch party on Outdrink the Coverage. So check that out. I'll post it, of course, on both pages. Until next time, he's Grant. I'm Terry. This is Sideline to Sideline, brought to you by Power Plus Mouth Guard.